Barry said he got Randall got a letter from Tate.
No, it's cookies.
I didn't see it. She didn't copy. She married for some reason.
Anyway, I mean, it's like another view. He's changing it.
Moving from the side.
Side street to the main street. And they get rid of the side street.
Come on. Pulls in I'm not a fan of this.
You know, but I think.
Yeah, that's why I got two.
But his is literally.
It's the same one that we did for a client.
Marla, can I start?
Right away.
Wendy, can I start?
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you. I just want to make sure you had your things. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday, Wednesday, 8th, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Max Frankel.
I pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. First order of business is public hearings. I'm going to make a motion to enter the public hearing portion of our meeting, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. First local law is proposed local law G. Wendy, I'm going to speak towards you. This way we don't have a problem. It's to allow 6-foot fences backing the Long Island Railroad train tracks. And this is just a simple update to our fence code to allow residents whose property backs up to the Long Island Railroad tracks to install a 6-foot fence by right, where currently they're limited to 5-foot fences. Is there any other questions or comments from the board?
I think it's a wonderful idea. As someone whose house backs along that road.
Yes, but for the record, you didn't bring this up.
Oh,
Mr. Albinski brought this up. So let's thank Peter. Any questions from anyone in the public? That being no, I think I'm going to make a motion to take a vote on this, subject to SECRA. Hold on. For the purposes of the New York State Environmental Quality Relief Act, or SECRA, I move that the village be identified as lead agency and that this action be deemed a type 2 action under SECRA, having no significant impact on the environment, and that as such, no further action is required under SECRA. So I'm making two motions, one to pass proposed local law G, and two for the SECRA. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Janice, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The first local law passes. Second local law was local law H of 2025, which is our tree remediation requirements. The reason we are changing this or adding this local law is to allow residents who have substantial and robust trees on their property the option to donate $500 for each tree not planted to a village greenery fund that the village would then use to plant in our village right away or other village green spaces. The reason this came up is there are times when residents would like to take a tree down and there's a difficult property and they can't either replace the tree because there's too many trees already on the property, or just the location of the tree that's being removed makes it difficult to replace it. So this has worked in some other villages as well. And I think this is something that might help our residents out instead of having to replant a tree where they might need to do so. Are there any questions from the board members? Any questions from?
The only question I have is, it's spelled out enough, so is it let's say somebody had a house and they had, numerous trees, and they decided to take them all down. Is there any discretion, or it's just to the homeowner's discretion? So if they want to spend,
It's the
say, 10 trees and they want to spend $5,000 and donate.
it's the discretion of the building superintendent or village administrator.
Okay,
Was the building inspector or the board of trustees?
Oh.
Is correct.
Okay, I had it drafted as village administrator, but I will change my notes.
so you have 10 trees, you want to tear them all down, you say, here's $5,000, but you have to go to have to come to one of these meetings and we'd have to approve it
You would-
individually,
it
case
would-
by case?
It would go to, you had a question, Mama? It would go first to the building superintendent to make this type of decision.
Understand that they still have to have an approval to remove the trees. It's not like you can take down a tree and give the village $500.
Oh, okay.
Right, you're still in the apartment.
Right.
Yeah, you still need the approval to remove the tree by a arborist.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks for.
We're not looking to end the replacement of trees.
This is in lieu of replacement if you have abundant trees on your property, and we agree with that. It looks like it's well treated, you're giving us $500 and we will plant a tree somewhere in the village.
I guess the only time it would apply to take down a lot of trees is if you're building a house and you need to clear it to build the house.
But then you would have plenty of room to grow a tree, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Can we vote on this, or is this the first public hearing on it?
It's the first public hearing, the board has a policy for holding open, but that's the board policy.
I'll hold this one over then to the next month's meeting, just to keep with our policy. So I'll make a motion to, what's the proper verb I want to use? And hold it over till next month. Seconded by,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Last one is local law I of 2025, stop intersections. This is to support the road safety project at the intersection of Ridge Drive East and Ridge Drive West, just up the hill from the restaurant formerly known as Joanne's, where we want to install 2 new stop signs and 1 yield sign in order to make that new intersection safer. Do I have any questions from my right? Do I have any questions from my left? Do I have any questions from the audience? That being no, I am actually, even though this is the first public hearing, we are going to take a vote on this anyway, because we expect to start the work on that intersection shortly. I want to put the stop sign up. So I'm also going to read the SECRA declaration. For the purposes of New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SECRA, I move that the village be identified as a lead agency and that this action be deemed a type 2 action under SECRA, having no significant impact on the environment, and that as such, no further action is required under SECRA. So I'm making the motion to pass local law I, and I'm making the SECRA motion as well. Do I have a second? Claire Dorfman. Oh, that will be AJ Smith. All in favor? Any opposed? Perfect. That passes as well. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing portion of this meeting.
I will second it.
Thank you. All in favor? I'm going to change the order of the meeting now because our friends of the 6th Precinct are here. So I'd like to thank, that looks like the commander, Mr. Vitelli, and that's Mr. Vilches. And I know you, I've seen, I just forgot your last name. So we discussed a couple of months ago with Deputy Inspector Ryan, I think I got her title correct, and she suggested that we update the equipment that the village has donated to the 6th Precinct, and she recommended we purchase this lovely Stalker LiDAR gun, which I would like to now formally present to the 6th Precinct so that you guys can use this in good health.
But not against any of us up here.
I would say that if any one of us here are speeding, I'm okay.
Close eyes.
No, give us the tickets where they deserve. So I'm gonna hand this to you. Oh, press it, please. Oh, there you go.
Can you take out for them? Is that
Oh,
okay?
sure.
Make sure you put that the right one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Second there.
Should have clarified there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you guys.
And
We appreciate all the support on getting from this.
absolutely.
If you need, you might need a car charger. So it doesn't come with car charger. And then you have the charger. Always plug it in here. If you need the car charger, let us know.
Why couldn't we like each get a chance to play with it for like a week? I would have loved to stand in front of my house.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I was on vacation for a while, so.
Those are little stuff together.
Oh, black and white cookies.
The 24.
No.
Cookies, guys? No. Going to say no. We got T plus, 1 month of license.
It's coming out nice. They even have like a little for the school bus.
Thank you, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye guys, good seeing you.
That was easy.
He's a good guy though, it's pissed. I'd love to.
It's phenomenal.
Like a big.
Next on our list, we're gonna jump around and go to 24 Bonnie Heights decorative fence application. Thank you for returning. And thank you for putting up the wooden forms. It was very useful to see where they're going to be.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just because of questions you come about, I just want to clarify how this particular application comes to be before the Board of Trustees.
Please.
So this is the continued discussion by the board of an application for a decorative fence in the front yard. And just to clarify, under the code, in section 119-1, fence requirements, what it says in subparagraph A is that, as a general rule, no fence shall be erected in a front yard of any property within the village. It goes on to say, notwithstanding anything herein contained to the contrary, decorative, non-property line fences that do not exceed 4 feet in height nor 40% capacity may be permitted in whole or in part upon a finding by the Board of Trustees after submission of a building permit application thereto, that the existence of such decorative fence will not adversely impact upon a community or upon a neighbor. So, Mr. Arbetzky, I just want to confirm that this was the building permit application that came to you for a decorative fence not exceeding 4 feet or 40% capacity in the front yard, which includes the piers that the gates, proposed gates are next to.
Yes.
Correct. So I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
No, thank you for clarifying.
Hi,
You have the floor.
my name is Paul Russo, I'm the architect for the project. Kevin Adley from the World Group is also here. He will also help me here.
Thank you, Kevin, for your help with our other projects here.
Sorry I didn't make the first hearing, I just had another obligation I couldn't distance myself from that one. I do have a color renderings, they're on the drawings that you have that you received. I'm just gonna send these up as exhibit A. 6 of these that you guys can share. If you want to see the color. As Mr. Winikoff noted, this is a continued application for new driveway gates that are located at 24 on the Heights Road. The fencing that we proposed in the front, we did get a zoning variance for the fencing that's along the front of the property. And the gates that we're proposing do meet the requirements of the building code for the village. This wasn't our original design. We had a design that which was much more not 40% opacity was the word. I'm sorry. So we worked with Peter Alvinsky with several different iterations to come up with something that works with being decorative in nature and also working with the style of the home that works with what we came up with already. The gates will set back from the road 31 feet. There's a mock-up there now. They're a little closer to the road. Currently, they're about 25 feet from the road. That's only because of the construction fence. We didn't want to put them behind, otherwise we wouldn't be able to see them. When we went to the zoning board really sent us to you for the gates. They didn't have an issue with approving the fencing and the piers that we had in the front. It was just really the gates. And as I said, we revised the plan to be this gate design. The gates are black in nature. They're tubular, 2x2 members, and it's just a basket weave. So it's just, I think, a very nice delicate design to the entry of the property. I know the board had questions about the visibility of the gates as you approach the property, either from the west or the east. And the top picture depicts you driving eastward on Bonnie Heights Road. The gates are set back and the landscape will turn and go towards the road, so it really hides the gates from the road. And then when you turn into the driveway, when you go in the driveway, that's when you actually see the gates. And if you're coming from the other side, because there's a bend in the road, if you're going westward, eastward from Bonnie Heights, it's a little more hidden that way. So you only see aspects of it on either side. They're not right in your face and not landscaping softening for a design purpose. I think Kevin can come up and also describe the planting materials that we were doing here, and further explain anything that the board may have questions about.
Paul, can I just?
Sure.
I just got this drawing, I don't know if this changed from the last time, but the maximum height is 4 feet,
Yes.
and you're showing 5.
That's the typo on mine. The gates will be 4 feet tall.
Okay, and also on the plan, it says 6 foot tall wood iron gates.
Yes.
So that's gonna be.
That'll be reflected and will be changed to 4 feet.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Thank you for your time. Kevin Natalie, landscape architect. As Paul stated, we went through the process with the Architecture Review Board on this unique property. We also came back, got the zoning board approval. It's not uncharacteristically along Bonnie Heights. There are some road frontage homes where their side or rear yards come up along the road, where this property being so unique, it was very important for us to create an opportunity for a side active use area, but we've agreed with the village, not far from where we are today, to be putting ample screening along Bonnie Heights here so the fence is set back. That same character of design was also important as when we were developing this for the Moscats, was we wanted to take that architectural form and bring evergreen hedges around this, so it kind of invites you and it pulls you into the gate. So as Mr. Russo stated, as you're traveling east or you're traveling west, with the gates being set back 30 feet, it's not until you're really coming around to that point, which again, most cars traveling east and west their view will be obstructed. not only do we use evergreens to flank and soften and kind of create a sense of entry as you come in, as the illustrations would show, we wanted to dapple and have some trees along the entry, which will illuminate very characteristic that you find in the community. So we wanted a soft element with the deciduous trees. The architectural intent is something like a birch, something that's not a massive, we're not trying to overwhelm the entry. And it's actually got a unique character that has more of a lower branching. The trees are still set back enough as the Moscow's are coming out that they will have clear sight lines left and right, but it will help obscure views as you're approaching either to the base. I have photographs of some of the plant material that we're proposing. I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mayor, any trustee members you may have.
I have no questions about the landscaping.
Thank you.
I know every job you do is excellent.
Thank you very much.
Any board members have questions about the landscaping? Mr. Natalie is excused. My quick question is the gate opening towards the street or is the gate opening towards the property?
The gate opens towards the property. So
Okay.
you arrive, you tap the road, and the gate's open and you're inside.
Okay, I couldn't tell. Mr. Albinski, do you have any other further questions of the applicant?
I just want to also note that they're showing that the gate operator, in other words, we come up and it's a call button, that's also within the property.
Yes.
It's not in the right of way, that's in the property, which I was looking to see.
I see nothing in the right of way on this. That's why I was asking about which way the gates open, just to make sure they weren't opening up into the right of way.
Yeah, I mean, typically gates do that, so you come up to the gates, there's a call button.
Yep.
And then the gates would open once it's addressed.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, also, one of the other important decisions was also the operating equipment of this will be a hydraulic system, given the approval, where it's an underground, so you don't see these mechanical arms. It's a very clean look. It's breaking down showing. So what it is it's underneath the gates in the masonry, there's a little vault, if you will, and there's a pin that comes up, and the motor is all submerged in the ground. So it's just a cleaner look, has more of an old world feel, like what would be a traditional manual gate.
Okay.
Are people going to be able to see them as they exit?
Yes, as I was saying, thank you. The trees are intended to kind of create a sense of entry, not uncommon that you'll see them on the right, but the trees are set back, so we have a sight line that will maintain. Yes.
Do any other trustees have any other questions?
I think it just, there was never, the house is beautiful. It's going to be just magnificent. The plantings worked so hard on it. It certainly will be a statement to Flower Hill. No doubt. I think my reservation was, and thank you for putting in there, everything and for all this work to explain it. At the end of the day, I think that the reason that was given was, so that your children wouldn't be, if they went out into a road, which is a cut-through road, right? And then my question was, well, then why change the entrance to Bonnie Heights as opposed to where it was on Knowles, which is a dead end, and there's no cut-through traffic, right? So if it truly was my reservation, if that was maybe a better word, is that it was, why not just keep it on Knowles? And that's number one. And that the other thing was that this is, the only, there's certainly some other beautiful homes on Bonnie Heights as well. This is the only one that will have a decorative fence. So as a board, we should keep in mind that, that's something that we are
Changing the character.
changing the character, that's all. And again, no question, the architect, with all due respect, the owner, and Kevin, honestly, it's just more of a, as we're voting on it, this is really as I said, does it make us more Kings Point-ish?
Right.
If I may, I'd like to add a few notes.
Please.
I'm just gonna bring his down for a second. Originally, the access was from the old road. The owners always had issues with deliveries because it was always 24 Bonnie Heights Road, but the entrance was off Knowles, so it was always an issue for that. When I first came to the property, first thing I saw is when I entered the old driveway, this is the high point on the property, and you drive down to the house. So architecturally, it's not the most inviting thing to see water come down to your home and you're going down to a piece of property. It's always nicer for you to drive up to something. So I had made the suggestion we should go to the lower part of the road, which is Bonnie Heights, which would solve his delivery issue. And also, when you're here, you actually slowly ascend towards the house, and it made it much more appealing to the property. And this high part that was on this side was graded so that the house didn't look like it was actually up. So we addressed two things by doing so, and we explained this to the zoning board as well when we went to that, to create this yard and that actually. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well.
Can I ask the village attorney a question? Is this a decision that we could somehow sunset in a way that, that it has to come up for re-review at some point? Because to address Trustee Collins' point is that we could be potentially setting a precedent here. And I'm wondering if, and I completely understand the goal of the project team, the design team, and the homeowner, what's at stake here, but it is a temporary solution, if you will, for a problem. It's not, it shouldn't necessarily be a permanent solution if that's the rationale. And I don't think that we're looking for permanent solutions like this along Bonnie Heights Road. So I don't know if this is something we can think about.
If you may, what was the precedent for allowing the gates along Elder Fields?
Historically, they were there already.
Well, I know some have been added, too, right? There are some more older, but, it's not completely out of character of the community. And those streets aren't really even cut-through streets. And this isn't even just the safety of the children, it's something that was desired, it was an architectural element. It was very important to us to make sure that we're not disturbing or taking away from the character of the community. And I think this reflects the style of the home as well. I think it can be seen as an architectural feature.
Just to clarify the Stony Town situation, as far as I know, there's only been one put in since I've been on the board.
He's talking about
Elderfield.
Oh, Elderfield.
Elderfield, yeah. That was subject to the zoning variance.
Right.
The zoning board granted that variance on those streets.
Right. But there's no variance on this. Well, there is.
No.
No, because this is not.
Well, again, the Elderfields could have gone the same route as.
That's what I meant,
the
Elderfields,
trustees.
Right.
They went before the zoning board, and the zoning board granted those gates.
Gotcha.
We have the one on Stony Town, we have the one on Country Club recently.
Country Club is, as you know, a different situation, right?
There's one of them in Asset Woods too.
Well, that one, the guy was broken into Country Club, I mean,
Plus, the Country Club one is far from the street. It's way down the driveway.
and it's right off of Port Boulevard,
Yeah.
This is 31 feet off
much a smaller house.
This is 31 feet. It doesn't look like 31 feet.
It's 31 feet back, right?
Is it?
Where traditional is 22 to 25.
Go to the other drawing.
That would be
The
set
other diagram has
further
the,
back.
the dimensions.
Oh, okay.
31.
Yeah,
31.
and all the piers that are also.
Yeah, many of the streets along there, the architecture of the piers along finance, several homes are much closer.
When we typically do these, we usually set these piers and gates about 25 feet from the curb line, so a car can completely pull in and access the keypad. But what we did is we pulled it in another 6 feet, and if it appeases the board of trustees, we can set this gate even a little further back.
Yeah.
So it's a little more secluded, I guess, or not as seen. So if we went from 31 to 35, 36 feet, if that will move the needle and make everybody happy, that the owner's okay with that as well. So that it's a little bit more further from the road, and you really need to stop and really turn to see. So that's something that we can do. Okay.
The other houses just have piers,
Mm.
right? Did the other houses all just have piers? Do they not have kids that they're worried about? Or like what? I'm just trying to,
If I can, I did drive up and down Rotten Head just before. There's plenty of homes that have piers, but not gates. I didn't see any gates.
They all have piers, or, no gates, right.
The majority have just piers. The gates I did see on Hatfield Road and Elwood. But this property is very different in its setup than other properties on Bonnie Heights. As I said, this was a project that wasn't a new home, even though it's become a new home. This is something that always started as a renovation. And because this property is, it's almost an acre and a half, there's no backyard whatsoever here, because this house, when it was designed, was set back in this corner, and the grading of it didn't really lend itself to a useful backyard. So by us pulling this fence and going through the zoning variance, this front yard is what we created so that his children had an area to play, so you can, enjoy being, a 1 acre owner here. He had really no property. We really opened this up and cleaned this all up, and we screened this so that's not visible from the road. This is just a security measure for deliveries for people that come here, because now his children are not shoehorned into this little back area. They're actually going to come and play in this area, and that's just a safety thing that we think is going to help. In addition to, as I said prior, the approach to the house from the road. So I think what we did really checks all the boxes, and we can set it back a little further. So I think that's where we're at here.
Is this landscape plan the one that was always presented prior to this review?
Yeah,
Or is this a new?
No, the only change on this landscape plan that was made was originally, there was consideration of the fence. We went back to the Board of Zoning and received approval to bring,
So what's the real data? This says January 28th that we're looking at.
the revision date was 6/13/25. So we, as for the, so we had the BZA approval in, so it's not, so you have a revision date, I'm sorry, an approach? Okay.
There wasn't a revision. So I don't know, we're looking at something that's not.
Let me see, and then just do mine. No, this is the correct one. Okay. This is the correct one, yeah, so the fence, per the Board of Zoning approval, approves the fence out there.
Is your, that he was just talking about?
Yes, sir.
Are we talking about this area here, or this area?
This area here. So as you can see, the house, the odd orientation, again, is pointed to the corner, right? Very typically, it's this way. And that would have been a traditional backyard. With the orientation, this is the area that was, we're trying to capture. And so the kids will be playing over here in the side yard, right? Not your typical backyard where they're in the privacy of the backyard. They are playing in that, and we are going to be providing ample screening. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right, sir. That's exactly right.
The reason why I was asking was about the date was I wasn't sure. So the tree removals that are shown on this plan were always.
Yeah, yeah, so we had when we had the decision, we proposed all that, and then all the proposed action of new trees was per the approval of the ARB. That's right, that is what was presented to the ARB and the BZA.
And I think, so I don't even know if that's part of something to talk about right now, but
What?
is the removal of predominantly deciduous trees and the replanting of mostly coniferous.
But I don't think that is part of this application.
Okay.
This application is specifically for the 2 piers.
We just got a site plan presentation on what was good about the design.
But
That's all. That's
I
why I'm
think
asking.
also is the landscaping, the additional landscaping that's going to go with this gate. I don't think what was approved by the ARC, this necessarily negates whatever the ARC decisions were. Correct, Mr. Elbinski?
Right, this application is for the piers, gates, and the landscaping that.
For the piers and gates.
What's it on each side?
Right.
Peterless, the gate, the
Oh,
Peter's
because,
road, like we discussed.
Right, just
It's just the gate.
correct. The intention is what I was referring to, is the planting adjacent to the
Piers and-
proposed entrance, that's right.
Exactly.
Yes, and then we were just emphasizing the fact that we provided additional screening.
Which was approved by the zoning board
That is
already,
correct.
so you don't even have to talk about it
Yes,
now
sir.
because that's been approved. That's a totally separate.
That is correct.
I just don't want to convolute
Yes, sir.
what was approved versus what's being asked for.
Thank you, right.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board? I heard some chatter.
Well,
Yes. Oh, there you go.
I still don't understand the need for this. I mean, everybody has kids in Flower Hill, on much smaller pieces of property. And this is a huge piece of property with a huge area for the kids, and it's all completely fenced. And it's not for security because it's 4 feet high. You could step right over it. So
Well, you
I
can
think
also
it's
step,
just-
you can also step around.
yeah, I think it's just because it's just an aesthetic thing. I think it's just, it's just to make the house look cooler. I don't see any real purpose, need for it. Yeah. I don't see it as a security need, and I don't see it as a safety issue for kids. I mean, what do people across the street? They're kids. Gary has Trustee Lewandowski has a good point that everybody's going to come here now and say, well, I have kids. So these people have got a gate. So now I want a gate because I have kids. My kids play in front of the house. And, we have to be careful about setting precedent. So not that I'm saying I'm against it or I'm for it. It's just, I think that's a point that has to be raised here. For the record, I don't know how my colleagues feel about it.
I would like to see this application be resubmitted right now as 36 feet instead of 31, since you did mention, Mr. Russo, that 36 would be acceptable by a client.
It's not an issue. We
Okay.
can meet that condition.
So,
But is that the issue?
That's not the issue. I think what Frank is saying is it's more of you're changing something that now other people will be
that's
able to use.
understandable, but I think for the case of voting on this, I would rather vote on the 36-foot, which was offered by the applicant, than the 31-foot.
I mean, I have no problem. Look, as an architect, I think it's beautiful. This is just beautiful design. The house is gorgeous. The landscape is gorgeous. And it's not personal. We have to take into consideration what's going to come up in the future now. And I don't think we want every house on Elderfield to have a gate.
This is an
I mean, on Bonnie Heights have the gate, I'm sorry.
Even with all of the parameters we're putting around it, the setbacks, the plantings, the uniquity of the corner, I mean, can't these be elements that make my situation unique? And I'm putting in all this effort to do it.
They can.
Like,
They can.
Any future gate application is going to be subject to the same robust review, right? This is a case-by-case basis, not a
Right.
blanket.
Is
Correct.
what, Claire?
It's as in any future gate applications that come, if they come to us as opposed to the zoning board, it's going to be subject to the same robust review, right? This is a case-by-case basis. We're not giving a blanket
Yeah.
gates to everyone,
Explain the plantings, the mascots, the setbacks, the type of gate, every, thing that we did that appease the board. We're hiding all of the technology of the gate, we're making it look clean, putting up all this plantings. We're a corner lot.
But I think to Gary's point, then you have to be clear to the village that if it's voted on, that you did it at the homeowner's request for protection of his children. Because it's a 4-foot fence. It's not a security fence. It's a decorative fence with a keypad opening, but it's aesthetically, obviously it goes with the home. Nobody's questioning any of that. It's more of okay, I got kids too, so I'm gonna put gates on, and then I think that is more the issue, not 36 or 31 feet. And I'm
Yeah, I
sure
don't
it's-
think the visibility is an issue.
I don't think that's an issue.
I think, you're describing the visibility in terms of the occasional passerby in a car, and that's great. It's good design. It's good that you've made that concession, but that's not the point. Like, for me, that's not the point. The point is are we going to see a bunch of these now going up and down the street, and I think that's not what we want. So, and, you know, because people will know, they're not gonna be blind to it, it's not like you're totally camouflaging this thing, so, so although you're making it more discreet, and I totally appreciate that, I do think that that's kind of irrelevant in what we're thinking about.
Last month, we talked about the visibility, right? So we made sure to come back and show you guys that it will be discreet and hidden by the plantings. So I think that was why we emphasized that tonight.
If I could, I guess I'm too much of just reading the code, what the code says, but the provision of the code in for fences just talks about whether it is decorative or not decorative. Not that it's a gate or it's a fence or something. It has to do with the look and not the reason. I mean, I know we're reading into it, it has to have the reason why. But if I just read the code on face value, it's just asking, does this board believe that it's decorative or not decorative? Does it meet the opacity or does it meet the height?
I think
It doesn't go to the reason why, it goes to the aesthetic.
I think the more important question is it a gate or is it a fence?
Well, I've said on the other applications that the gate's the same as the fence. It is a fence that opens and closes.
And maybe on legalistic terms you can say that, but I'm talking about, ask anyone off the street, what is that? What are they gonna call it?
Security gate.
Right. So that's the point. Like, it's not, this has nothing to do, I mean, this is what, I think that's the nut of the case is, are we gonna be okay with approving a fence that operates like a gate and not a fence that looks like a fence?
Well, I'm just saying that, again, I'm reading it just what it says, it doesn't differentiate. You may want to change the code to differentiate
this
on that,
begs
but that's
the
not
code
what's
is
in
not-
here now.
Right.
So, I mean, with all due
Anyway.
respect, abiding by the code is my home, it's something I really like. We're really doing the best to appease the board, and I mean, setting precedent is really not a legal reason for the code to good job.
So my question first for the board, before we decide to take a vote on this matter, are we voting for a 31-foot setback or a 36-foot setback? I would prefer to be voting on a 36-foot setback. Does anybody else want to vote on a 36? Or does it, I'm going to ask individually, starting with my Mets friend at the end, Mr. Smith.
Unfortunately, I wasn't here last month, so this is all like new to me. I don't know that it makes a difference to me whether it's 31 or 36.
Okay, that's fine.
I would like to see plans for 36 as well as 31, just to compare them.
It's going to be minimal.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Okay.
minimal.
That's fine.
Just imagine here,
It's
you're
gonna be this much
his
on the
36.
drawing, yeah.
That's really just going to be the difference. Gary, do you care 31 or 36?
I think that's, like I said before, it's irrelevant, I would vote on either one.
Ms. Dorfman,
Yeah, I think on a property that size, 4 feet doesn't make a difference to me.
Mr. Frankel, since I haven't heard from you. Or Joe.
31 or 36 is not the issue for me.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
I'm not going to ask Frank because I think you're going to say 31.
No, I don't care. They're both. Yeah.
Okay, so if we're going to take a vote, I guess we're voting on a 31-foot fence since I don't seem to have a majority in thinking 36. I'm going to, unless there's any comments from the public, any more? Yes, sir.
If I may just,
Actually, this isn't to hear.
Trustee Dorfman had mentioned precedent has come up a few times. So if I can just clarify how that works with boards of zoning. It's not precedent the way we would normally think of it. So if a decision is made by this board to approve an application, whether it's this or another, and then another application comes before your board, this seems the same in nature. The manner in which this board could be bound by its prior decision is if you don't, in the second decision, show that there are distinguishing features, because every case is unique, right? So what would have to happen is the board in the next case down the road would need in subsequent decision to say, we did have another case where there was, I'll take it out of this example, okay, it's usually a variance. We did have another case where somebody received a setback in order to have a structure at 6 feet away. And we granted it in that case. And in order to, in another second case, say, but we're not granting it here, the board is perfectly free to do that, as long as what the board says is the reason that we're not granting it here is that this case is different. I'm not saying at all how this board will decide in this case. What I understand the applicants to be saying is that they're, I believe the word was used, that's what they're arguing. But that's up to the board. I did just because it came up, I didn't want to clarify how precedence works.
I appreciate that.
So are we voting on a security fence? Like, is this gonna be detailed about what we're actually voting on? So we have, or are we voting on, is everyone thinking it's a decorative, we're just voting on a gate? Or a decorative fence, or are we voting on a security fence? What are we voting on exactly?
So can I respond to that?
Please.
Please.
Yes. So as Mr. Obinsky said, and I think he's correct, the way the code is written, it just says decorative fence. So it doesn't say that in order to have a gate at a certain point in the village in the front yard, one must show that it's for security purposes. You have to establish it's a decorative structure.
Which is what it is, because it doesn't meet the security.
Right, yeah, I take Trustee Deputy Mayor Janice's point, which is none of their presentation says this is a security structure. That's not what this would be. And in fact, I think the minute they said that they removed the opacity of it, you're removing any concept of this being for security. It's 4 feet high, you can walk around it. This is a presentation as a decorative structure. And as Mr. Obinsky said, that's what's in the code now. That doesn't mean it can't be revisited, but that's what's in the code.
The estate fence goes directly to the piers?
No, it does not.
No.
Look on the drawing. Here, you just borrow mine. It does not. The decorative fence ends here. This is where the piers are. That was my same question.
So really, the whole
Where you
concept
have-
of safety for the kids is irrelevant, because the fence,
I don't think
the kids are safe, they're fenced in that other area anyway.
I think Jeff, just as long as he rationalized the idea that going forward, next time, we can potentially say no, as long as we can justify, like, this is what you said, is an acre and a half. I mean, around here, that's an estate, and I think an estate looks fine with a fence. I live on a third of an acre fence, which is stupid. But in this case, with this, I know the road, how it's spread out, that the look, I mean, yes, it's just a look. And as long as we don't justify we're voting yes or no for safety or for something, we have the ability to say no down the line, because there is some tweak that we can say, it's not an acre and a half, it's only an acre, so you don't get it.
Yeah, but then those people say, well, you're discriminating against me because my property is.
That's what I mean, I just need to vote
So-
yes.
But
or
but your point, to your
Yeah.
point,
We have discrimination built into the code on different property sizes and what they can do. You can't have a tennis court on a small lot. So, yeah,
It
there's
just
a
ends
hierarchy
here.
based on lot size.
It just comes here and ends.
This is the
Lot
fence.
coverage, all those are all variables and
That
predicated
goes-
based on the size of your
Right,
lot.
so this is the fence here.
Mr.
That's the front of the fence.
Yeah, because you have to create a restricted area.
Yes.
But then what happens back here? So it has to
I like
cross over
restricted
some
I
height
assume
here.
at some point it ends because to keep the pool in place. That's not your main conversation, because that's the back of the property.
I see what it does, yeah.
All right. Is this board ready to vote on this application for this decorative fence?
That's what it's gonna be
All right,
approved as, a decorative fence, I agree.
it's a decorative fence.
Yes.
There was a stated purpose of why they wanted a decorative fence, but it's a decorative fence. Ms. Wolfson, can you poll the board?
What was their motion?
Oh, sorry, I will make a motion to approve the Moscot decorative fence application.
And I would suggest that for the purposes of secret, it's contained in type 2, having no significant
Yes, but since it's not a public hearing, but yes. Wait, do I have a second of this applicant, of my motion? Thank you, sir.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Lewandowski.
Aye.
Yes.
Trustee Dorfman,
Yes.
Mayor,
I'm voting last.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Denise,
Yes, aye.
trustee Nahn,
Abstain.
and trustee Frankel.
Yes.
I will abstain as well. This motion passes. Thank you very much, Scots. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you,
Russo.
everybody.
I think we should address that both.
All right, next back into our regularly scheduled broadcast. Public comment.
Well, yeah.
We can discuss this later. Public comment. Any public comment? Hold on, Mr. Mann.
Thank you all.
Can we circle back? Marla, Jeff. We're gonna make I did public comment. Do you need me? I said, no, we're gonna start with the meeting. We're gonna go back to our regularly scheduled broadcast. Approval of minutes. Marla, I think you need to change the attendance of last month's attendees. I believe trustee Smith was not here
I was there.
and trustee Dorfman was here, so you need to swap those two.
I don't even look like her.
I think that I did that like you.
Yeah.
Trustee Sprinkles.
Yes, my kids were.
Yes, he was, trustee Frankel was banned to keep us not sick.
We ran into it.
Yes.
We ran into it. They showed them the.
I met all these sick children. I kept Max at a distance. All right, so I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes with the adjustment that I just asked for. Seconded by
I'll second.
trustee Dorfman, all in favor? Excellent.
I'm going to abstain on that, please.
Yes, you weren't here. That's totally acceptable. Thank you. I'm gonna make did everyone have a chance to read the abstract of ordered vouchers? I'm going to make a motion to approve the total abstract of $257,752.90. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Frank. All in favor? And Max will abstain on the art of
She's on there, I
landscaping.
didn't know.
Yes.
If she's on there, it's safe.
Yes, excellent. Next on our list, we did the stalker radar, so I have some new business. 24 Bonnie Heights we took care of. Sports courts. So I was hoping to have a public hearing this month on this, but we didn't have the opportunity to draft what we want to draft. And for the record, sports courts, our village code does not adequately address the location use of sports courts. By updating our code, we can prevent potential quality of life issues for neighbors who join any proposed sports court. Even though I'm a fan of pickleball, I do not want to live next door to a pickleball court. They are rather loud and annoying. So next month, I'm going to make a motion to hold a public hearing for sports court amend chapter 212 tennis and other courts at our next board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Lewandowski. All in favor? Excellent. We're going to have that the next board meeting. Also at the next board meeting, I would like to have a new local law to prohibit plantings in the village right of way. This is something we discussed last month. People are planting shrubberies in the right of way, and then over time they get really, really, really big, right, Max? And then they tend to get in the roadway, right, Max?
Hedge.
Yes.
I got a trimmer.
So in order to prevent some of these things from growing very large into the right of way, Max might know of some houses like this. We need to put something in our code to prohibit these plantings so that X amount of years after they're planted, they don't become a problem.
Particular corners for cycling.
Particularly, Max,
Yeah.
do you know any houses on a corner that has lots of shrubberies?
I have plenty of sidewalks.
Okay, good.
Plenty.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to have that public hearing at the next Board of Trustees meeting. Seconded by?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. That's easy. Next, the Manhasset Women's Coalition Against Breast Cancer 2025 Walk Run. The date will be on October 5th between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. As always, we have the certificate of liability insurance. It's only going to be barely touching our village, so I don't think really this is a problem for us. We've had this run through the village countless times. So I will make a motion to approve this walk/run, the 5K on October 5th, 2025. Thank you, trustee Smith. All in favor? Excellent. Next, we need to pass a resolution to approve we're going to apply for the 2026 court grant. And in that court grant, what we're going to be asking for are monies for a safe in order to keep the monies that come in from our court safe from the day that they're collected until the next day when they are deposited. We would like to upgrade the conference room carpet, which is used for our prosecuting attorneys to meet with the defendants, and to update the furniture in those rooms as well, since the carpet and furniture is dated and worn. So I'm going to make the resolution to apply for the 2026 court grant for these materials. Seconded by?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
That's easy. On October 4th, between 10 and 2. 10 and, no, I have my notes. 10 and 1, we changed it. We are going to do the first annual Touch a Truck event. I am very excited.
So am I.
Because Frank will now get to sit in the fire truck.
Oh, my grandson's gonna go nuts.
Oh, no, this is just for you, Frank.
Okay.
And you get to wear the little fire hat, and we're gonna have,
Wouldn't be the first time.
the police are gonna bring a bunch of equipment, and we're gonna have all of our village equipment out there, including the payloader and mowers. Sorry? Well, I said fire truck, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. And the street sweeper, which seems to be very popular with my neighbors' kids. They love the street sweeper.
That's cool.
They love it. They come running out when the street sweeper's out. So we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great event. And come one, come all. I'm excited to be there. And Rich will be excited to be there as well, because he's a large part of this laying it all out and bringing all the equipment out that day. So I am very, very excited. Next on our application list here, new business is 35 Woodhill. Gentlemen, is that you? Come on down.
What is the,
You want to state very quickly, because the board, I don't think, knows what this is all about.
Sure. I'm Frank Chiuzzi, owner of 35 Woodhill Lane. This is my architecture from Morocco. We were issued a building permit on June 12th, is when we officially picked it up. It was a long and strenuous process, but for the better. We had several meetings with our architecture review committee. We actually learned a lot and took a lot of their advice, and overall, I think the end product is working itself out. So with that being said, is following a lot of the direction, I received an email a month later on the 17th of July of a revised building permit fee, stating that the plans were misinterpreted. And when I met with Peter, one of the inspections, misrepresented was also used for us. First and foremost, neither of those words should be in that, because misrepresented, definitely not, because our plans did not change, and they were completely disclosed in every one of our meetings. In fact, and I think really the issue was, and Gary will attest that each time we started out trying to do 10-foot ceilings, we went down to 9. The existing ceiling heights of the home, on the plans from 1954, they say 8'3", they were actually 8'6". So we went to 9 foot. So with that being said, when one of the questions that I asked Peter when I picked up the application, when I dropped off the check, what I said, said, what would you recommend? Should we go with 2x6 exterior walls for better, support insulation, or keep the existing 2x4? He said, I would definitely spend the money on doing that. And I appreciated his advice, I appreciated Gary's advice, and we looked to follow that trend. Unbeknownst to us, a month later, to get an email stating that because we knocked down and went to the deck, which we were always going to the deck, it was in every architectural review committee meeting, that this is now considered new construction. Actually, we went to the deck, we kept the first floor, the basement ceiling joist. We did not go to the foundation. Had I known if that were the case, we would have made other alterations. That's number one. Secondly is, in an effort to really keep the footprint the same, which it is, there were minor alterations done on the existing first floor plan to basically confine and stay within the existing. I brought the existing from 1954, and Joe will show you what it is today, and there were minor changes. Had I known it would have been new construction, I probably would have put the kitchen in a different area, or maybe moved around some of the bathrooms. But we kind of kept within that, and that was that. So Peter, I said, when we came to one of the inspections, I said, what should we have done? We also changed all the windows, which were all disclosed on every elevation and so forth. So you could assist with the outside walls. Had I known that, when my architect and Peter met for the final to discuss plan, we would have probably sistered the outdoor walls. Luckily, we still did keep the wood. It is there, we would use it for something else, but that's either here or there. But the only exterior wood that we would have to have replaced is where we put new windows. But the walls were not windows, we could have very easily kept. Considering we kept the deck as well. You want to add anything?
So to help the board, because.
Can I just?
Yeah,
cut to the chase here?
fine, I was gonna ask him, but you can cut to our chase, thank you,
Okay.
please.
So, based on what was submitted, we have an application that states the proposed work in detail. Second floor addition and first floor interior alteration, and a new 16 by 31 rear deck. Every plan that was submitted states proposed second floor addition and first floor interior alterations. So when I applied the permit fee, I applied it for first floor alterations. I took 50% of the first floor as alterations, based on what was written on the plans, based on what was written on the application. So when it was discovered, we went to the site that the entire first floor was taken down, I applied the appropriate fee. As I've done in other applications, which this has happened too, because many times they realize, oh, it's too much work to extend the extra foot or save this wall because we're doing it, and that's what happened in this case.
Or the materials are defective, like there's a house by me, you had to do the same thing.
So now the scope of the work changed from what was written in the application, written on the drawings, and I applied the fee that applies based on our fees.
Because this picture to me does not look like a first floor alteration.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
I have two architects on my board here, and I think both would tell me that this is demolition, not alteration. So what your ask here is, your ask is to pay the original fee that you applied for an alteration. Correct, but not pay the additional fees that Mr. Albinski is claiming you owe, because this is not an alteration, this is a demolition.
Okay, so with that, can I just mention the conversation?
Please.
At first, Peter was excellent through the entire process. Everything he did was great, and we appreciate that. The idea of the plans never changed. Actually, the ceilings were higher. So the ceilings, the new exterior wall detail, the entirety of the plans, you could tell that the walls have to be changed. When we met with the architectural review board, we talked several times about how we're taking it down to the deck. We received various comments, a lot of them making the project more expensive, incorporated all the comments requested to make this house what it is today. So if you open up the entirety of the drawing, you'll see 9-foot ceilings written all over the place. The existing drawings were legally submitted for clarity to show the existing layout. The conversation that was had was that the kitchen is in the same location, the floor is in the same location,
The plumbing's in the same location where the bathroom is, and there were slight alterations to the interior floor plan. The deck was, the constructability of it was moving up and down with the architectural comments that came back. And once we gutted it and realized how many windows were gonna be in there and different things, the studs on the exterior walls kind of became arbitrary. They wouldn't be holding anything up. If you assisted to them, it was limited amount because of how many windows, beautiful windows in this house. So if the increase was driven by the exterior walls being different, I don't think saving the wood would have helped anybody. It would have just sitting there as extra wood on the house. The scope of the project we're representing is never changed. So if you look at the cross section, it points to the new exterior walls. You know, it's on there when you go through it. Whatever was written down on the original application, I think we had every opportunity took it to clarify the scope over and over as the months went on. I mean, we met with Gary, with Peter, we talked about going out to deck, we got into great detail on how we can actually gonna build this to achieve fitting windows in the look of the house. So
Is there a demo plan in there?
what we submitted was the existing first floor plan and the new first floor.
Right.
Whether or not the demo of.
So it doesn't indicate what walls are being taken out or what?
I definitely asked her to flip through to see if I actually did a.
These are all the walls, these are all the walls, that we're trying to put walls there. It doesn't matter for walls.
On the cross section, you can see how it points to new exterior walls, 2 by
Sure,
6.
sure.
Relative to what was there was 2 by 4.
The bottom line is, you took it down to the deck. So you took it down to the deck, so that's what the fee is.
So what
That's what the
saying
fee is.
So the understanding was, when we agreed to fee, what he's saying is, you would not necessarily keep it down to the deck.
I would have kept it at 8.6 then. I would have said, okay, I'm not gonna do that.
We didn't have an
I won't do it.
opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
But just.
I was never gonna be opportunity.
so you wouldn't have done the project.
No, I didn't say do the project.
Gentlemen, your comments should be on the.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just,
Okay, so
I didn't say we wouldn't do the project.
So when we spoke on projects, spoke with Pete, we've had various times going down to the deck, that's how we're gonna build the high ceiling, and we started out with 10-foot ceilings. We went to the 9-foot ceilings because of some aesthetic comments in the exterior, whatever it is. The idea that the extra 6 inches would have been of that value for the client, would have liked to have had an opportunity to possibly bring those ceilings back down and not pay the additional fees.
For 6 inches, I would
When
have.
we received the fee after he'd already started construction, there's no way to go back to a redesign. We could have just dropped the ceiling down and received maybe a less.
Gary, you want to shed a little, any light, because you were part of the ARC process?
I'm just saying, look, if I could, the drawings, all we said and continue to say, alterations of first floor. The application said alterations.
Show you the drawings.
We sent this application here with all due respect.
Yeah, I want to
We
see some.
submitted an application in November, we got approved in June, so, it was an ongoing, moving process.
Yeah,
But
and-
the representation on the plan did not change.
And we got revised drawings as the process evolved.
Here's what we call the plan.
What was the original house? Is it a ranch?
The floor plan, I can show you.
Split.
The original submission, and was taken off because we had to change a lot of it.
Would you like to see it?
It wasn't the original submission, I can show you.
Peter, what is the difference here in fee from, how much?
About $8,000.
$8,000. Okay, thank you. There's your answer.
It wasn't be 30%.
Is that-
No.
There would be.
I paid the
Yes.
So let's see. How much? Something
No, the impact that goes when you reconstruct it or not. We both know that's.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with Dave Court?
Basically, trying to get that out, whether he's gonna pay an extra $8,000. Like, this house is going to get built. The house is going to get built. Oh, it's supposed to be- the house is being built.
And I took this off, and redid my set. This was submitted with it, and the point is, most are 8-foot grooves, so nobody would think it's not that high.
It really is.
The overall, if you just look at the first floor. When we talk about us, then our intention is eighth grade, is kitchen's here, the foyer's here. Kitchen is here. The foyer is here. The bedroom essentially is on for second floor, it's out in the pantry essentially here. So the interior wall shifting around a little bit to make everything work, primarily because we had to get these windows, as Gary knows, and that's S from the exterior, S architectural people. Move some of these walls around slightly, and the rest of them is opening up from the get-go, because we have the TJS system. Section here, exterior wall detail. Miscommunication on
People won't drive.
this speaker.
By the way, you're gonna have new neighbors. I had a neighbor. When they renovated, like.
So then, is the.
This was submitted.
Yeah.
This was in, this was the building department. You didn't update your permit.
Plants.
Holy
Just say the most is on you.
So how was your summer? They have their information.
Yeah.
But I don't say his house is very interesting. Yeah. This is a great spot. I like it that way.
And this is not the
We have a lot more of that.
All right, this is going on way too long. Everybody back to their respective seats, please.
For the record, I didn't move.
Thank you. I know, because you're busy. I'm not calling you out. Deputy Mayor Janice, let's get moving.
I got you. Anyway, the scope of change was representing what we're doing, what we did, and what we're going to present.
Trustee Lewandowski, did you find any new information in your conversation just now?
Not really.
Deputy Mayor Janice, did you find
Well,
any new
I
information?
mean, this was the first time I'd seen it, so there's no new or old.
No, just as in your
It's-
conversation now. Is there anything you want to share? If not,
Just make one of the quick comments.
Sure.
I would think, and I think we all agree, that the fee was calculated based on the entirety of the drawings. It had to have been because you calculated the square footage accurately, and not just a written piece of paper that happened 9 months earlier by the time we approved. So the entirety of the drawings were reviewed, the square footage calculated accuracy. We didn't dispute the square footage, we did not dispute the original assessment. And in order to give that original assessment, we would have to open up every single sheet in this drawing set, which leads you to exactly how we're building the building, on top of the many verbal conversations that happened with the town.
But let me just see if I understand. So the section shows 9 foot,
Throughout,
9 foot,
correct.
So
okay? What was the existing condition?
the existing plan say 8'3".
8'3".
It was more like 8'6", 8'3" was from record drawings, 8'6" was probably the ad-built condition.
So why did you assume that you could keep certain walls in place if you knew they were 9 inches short?
We did.
No, we didn't assume
We
that.
did.
When I asked,
It would take-
when I asked Peter, what should we have done if we didn't take down the exterior walls? He said, we should have sister them. Okay, I'll sister them down. If that appeases, we're not looking to disrupt, we're not looking to create a new precedent. Although I'm on 1.45 acres, so my next meeting, I'm definitely gonna ask for a fence. Kidding.
In a gate.
Kidding. But anyway, we're not trying to disrupt or dispute anything. Was it miscommunication? I'm not really sure, but nothing was ever misrepresented, maybe misinterpreted. I can't speak on that behalf. But again, if that were the case, the sister, the exterior couple walls that would have been there, and that would keep that I guess confides within, village code, we would have done that. Or at least tell me that it's not. And I'll do it now. I have, my framer is on standby. He builds all over in Sands Point, all in the area. I've never heard of this, but if we gotta do it, we gotta do it for code. So if we have to put back all 2x4s to appease you guys, because I don't want to be a precedent or anything, I have no problem with doing that.
You can't do that now. What do you think, do that now?
You've already removed it. It's a question of have you removed the structure and gone down to the deck or not. You can't, the question is not to reframe what was there.
So I think the idea is to.
It would cost you more.
There's a 2x4 to the deck. There's a 2x4 to the deck.
I see.
That's all, so I'll just go put the 2x4 that was attached to the deck back. That's all that was there. The ceiling had to come off. We went to the second floor.
I'm not gonna, this isn't worth the debate. Peter, anything else before we decide to move forward?
No, again, just restating what was represented on each drawing and on the application.
Is there any other questions from the board? I'm hoping not.
I just recently had this problem professionally, where we had to pay the price for this on Green Street.
Yeah.
So, it's done for a reason. It's not, and you can't change things willy-nilly because someone claims ignorance on something. So it's a hard one, guys. I mean, you knew what you were doing.
Where's the ignorance on that?
Well, if you didn't know that you were going from 8'3" to 9 feet.
We knew. We disclosed that. Every architectural review board knew that we were going to the deck.
That was irrelevant about how you were going to construct it. That was not part and parcel. That's not what that review process is about. So you can't, don't mix those two things.
I apologize.
So it's really on the architect to manage the process, to understand that, okay, I started at point A, but at some point I went over and tipped over the barrel. I'm in point B now.
That never happened. From day number one, what was submitted was disclosed.
Well, that's not what the records showed.
9 foot was on there from day number one.
9 feet could be, I don't know, is it existing or is it new? I have no idea.
The existing is on the original.
Submitted with the set of drawings.
So from day one, it was always going down to the deck. Why does it say first floor alterations?
Right.
From day one, you just said from day one, it was going down to the deck. Why is it on the plans and the application as first floor alterations?
The alteration component there was represented, we weren't going to extend the footprint at all. And that's what.
And the interior was remaining the same.
And
it is, you don't understand what an alteration is. An alteration, you have existing wall, you're moving a wall here or there. You're not removing and then rebuilding. That's rebuilding.
Everything you said, but do you agree that you reviewed the entirety of the plans to come to your assessment of the square footage?
Yes.
So if you're getting at how are we gonna build it, I think the conversation is going back to what the client is saying is, if this was a means and methods consideration, you might have approached getting to the 9 foot ceiling with different means and methods. If you knew that this would come back, we openly said we're going out to that multiple times in meetings, even if it was off the record.
And the plan saying that.
But we mean in a very, Village Flower Hill was.
Again, you said
environment.
we have architecture review, and then I get construction drawings, okay? And then I get construction drawings that say a certain thing. You're saying from day one, it was down to the deck, from day one, it always said first floor alteration.
But if the construction drawings that were submitted and approved.
I'm done.
Thank you.
I can't say it more enough.
Listen,
Can I just ask one more question?
one last, then we're done.
Was there a means and methods of construction that you're familiar with to get from 8'3" to 9 foot ceilings?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so you're commenting more on the contractor's means and methods of building this thing. So if you would have built it by different means and methods to get those few inches, you would have.
If you had kept the existing first floor walls and just
build it up on top of it.
Yeah.
So you would have created maybe a less structural integrity product.
That's up to you, the architect.
No, well, this is a means and methods conversation for the contractor and how they built it, and unfortunately.
I'm not gonna allow this conversation any further.
Okay, no problem.
No. Peter stated his case. Peter has been doing this for many, many, many years. I believe all his calculations are always very thorough, precise. I watch him working in his office for hours, measuring and calculating and doing everything. And I believe everything that he does is 100% accurate, or at least 99.9% accurate. I'm going to, I guess, make a motion not to grant relief. Would that be appropriate, the appropriate terms?
Yes, and to affirm the decision that the.
And to affirm the decision of the building superintendent.
Do you
Do
need
I-
a motion for this?
Yes.
I'm going to make the motion. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Dorfman. Let's poll the board individually on this one, and I'll vote first. Am I voting aye, or I guess aye, that we're not going to pass this?
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Landowski?
Aye.
Trustee Dorfman? Deputy Mayor Denise?
Yeah, sorry, I,
Trustee Collins?
Aye.
And Trustee Franklin?
I'm gonna abstain.
All righty, thank you. Next on our list will be the ARC report, Mr. Albinski.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know.
I don't know.
I know it looks
Can I
like.
change one?
No, the vote has been taken. You can't change your vote.
I just thought, I was gonna say I didn't know.
The vote was taken. It's done. Peter, ARC, please.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Randall, I want to try something new. You do that after, just for the board here, something out.
Sure. Let's go through the agenda, then we'll bring new items towards the end. Peter, here, take mine. Take mine. There you go. Claire and I will share.
3 items, 53 Knollwood, we single residence, that was a return. We had a number of, just a few comments to remain, and that was approved with those conditions. 28 Wood Valley, rear addition, front porch, exterior alterations. We had a number of comments that changed the character of the roof line and so forth, and we asked for them to come back on that. New residents at 87 Crabapple, a good start on that, but we had a number of just sort of detailing items that we needed to see for a return on that one.
Any questions from the board?
The only thing we're voting on is 53 Knollwood.
Affirmative.
Yes.
And I see no one from the public, so there'll be no questions there. All right, I'll make a motion to approve 53 Knollwood Road as a returning application, seconded by
I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Janice. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, excellent.
I'm going to abstain again.
Abstain.
My good friends with the next door neighbors, there's going to be.
Okay, that's.
Can I just ask for the record, who is the arch widow over the portico? And is she a lot, is she?
Is it this type? Oh.
No, it's arched window.
You're funny.
Oh, arched widow. Oh, no, sorry.
Yes, who is the arch widow? And what's she doing over the rectangular window?
She's one of Batman's enemies, the arched widow. DPW report, which you guys have. Unfortunately, Mr. Rich is sick, so we sent him far away because he's not as sick as your kids, Max, but he was not looking good at the end of the day, so we sent him far away. However, we're now going to discuss road works. All right, hold your breath for this one. I've got multiple projects here. First, Manhasset Woods Road in Stonytown, starting this Friday. The road that intersection will be closed. They will start demolition of it, and then they will put down new concrete in both directions down at the bottom of the hill from Friday through Sunday. We've already notified the police department, both fire districts, and all the school districts.
What time did they start on Friday?
They're
I'm
gonna
hoping
start
that
in the
people
morning.
Commuting to the train
It's-
from my
it's-
neighborhood.
It's hopeful that cars can pass while they're doing the demolition.
Okay.
But as soon as, remember, they gotta go down, how many inches are they going down, Peter, for the concrete? They're like 8 inches? Do you think at the concrete at Stony Town and Manhasset Woods?
For the concrete work?
It's like 8 inches, I
6
think.
inch, but yeah, sometimes they go to 8.
Yeah.
Only Manhasset Wood Road is concrete, right? Stony.
Correct, no, just on, but it's at that intersection, so you
Right.
can't
Why
enter
are we
Manhasset
keeping
Woods
these
Road.
concrete roads? They're so.
That's a good question. You'd have to ask Mitchell. It's I
I
don't say
know, it's the
historic,
same
but it
reason
was,
in Port-
it was put in when the
Port
village was
Washington,
built.
They do it too.
So in order for it to be done quickly and efficiently, it was recommended that we close the road down and do both sides at one time. It is hopeful that buses and morning commuters will be able to drive by as they're getting ready to do the demo. But at some point, once they do the demo and you've got that 6 to 8 inch drop, you don't want people driving with that. And then as soon as they put the rebar, forget it, and then we're gonna pour. The residents are gonna be notified. We have a digital signage board that we're borrowing from the Port Washington Manhasset Office of Emergency Management. So we have a digital signboard that's going to go up tomorrow, notifying residents. We're going to be bringing the your favorite, the signboard, the arrow board will be there. We're going to have trucks closing down the road so that no one will accidentally drive through our famous wet cement. And the homeowners that are living there between Bonnie Heights and the Hill will still be able to access. We'll have an opening for them to enter and exit. That's that.
I'm sorry, what road is being closed down?
Manhasset Woods Road by Stony Town, the big concrete hill. The bottom pads and the drains have to be replaced.
So is it only on Manhasset Woods Road? It doesn't.
One day
No, Friday morning till hopefully
Yeah.
Sunday.
It's 3 days.
of this coming Friday.
It's gonna-
Does it affect the intersection or not?
No, it goes to the intersection where the blacktop begins.
But you can still drive on Stony.
Right.
We're not closing down Stony Town. We're only closing down Manhasset Woods Road. Has to be done.
Sounds fine.
It's the only way to do it efficiently. All right, road paving schedule. Monday, September 22nd, our friends at Metro will begin the paving work on Stonytown, Country Club, Brookside, and then the Ridge Drive area. They'll be doing it in sections. There'll be the milling first, then they'll be coming doing the paving. I don't have the exact days of which projects are when, and when we get that in the next week or so, I will send or Marla will send a new email out to the village notifying everybody of those start dates. Because just because they're doing milling September 22nd at Stonytown doesn't mean they're gonna do Country Club the same day, maybe not the next day. It'll depend. And then paving will happen a few days after that. So like anything, it's gonna be a little dirty and a little messy, but we're gonna have really good roads when we're done with this whole project. And we will continue to notify the residents accordingly. Attorney's report.
There was no reason.
That's right, no zoning. Good, that was easy. Mayor's report. I attended, and so did trustees Dorfman and Collins, the wonderful presentation by our village historian on the Pulaski of Roslin, the viaduct. And we all got our autographed books,
It
right?
was lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. There's a lot of things I actually relearned and learned some new things, and something that's actually germane to something that's might be happening nearby. So I was able to get some good information from Mr. Schwartz on that. I had the meeting of the mayors.
How was the museum?
They're doing a lot of work there.
I know.
They're doing a lot of work. They got a lot of nice grants to
I was going
finally
to stop
fix
by,
it.
but I know
Yes.
Peter gets annoyed.
No, Ken gets annoyed.
Oh, is it Ken?
It's
No,
Ken. It's Ken. No, it was a good meeting. We discussed,
I'm so friendly with
common
Ken.
issues. We discussed paving, which is how I learned all about this contract, the jumping on the town of North Hempstead contract from that meeting 2 years ago. So it was good stuff. And
Did we feed you guys?
we had bagels and eggs and stuff. And I've got my new Oh, it's on my desk, my own reusable utensil kit.
Science Museum. Yeah.
Yes, so I will no
Those are
longer
big
be
hit.
I will no longer be wasting the plastic forks.
Yeah,
Well,
we gave them out at the,
Science museum.
yeah, we gave them out at the science stuff.
That's it from me, but I was going to bring up during the roads portion, if Rich was here, the beautification, but I'll let, who wants to talk about
What's
Gary and
this?
Mary Jo? Oh, sorry, hold on, thank you. I'm so ahead of myself. Stonytown, my apologies. So the goal of Stonytown was actually to add a westbound bike lane on the north side of the road.
Or a sign that says, "Hey dummy, there's a running track right across on the other side. Why are you running on
Well-
this side where there's no shoulder?"
Well,
For bike riders-
Around that turn.
No, but-
So let me finish.
Yeah.
So I asked our, the Lero group to design that.
Mhm.
And upon measuring the road and having to deal with the New York State DOT buffer that's kind of required, we can't have two separate lanes,
Right.
one on the north side, one on the south side.
Right.
So the option that was presented to us, which I think is a good one, is to have a bi-directional path. Where
Yeah,
the single direction path now is, that'll be bi-directional. We'll have the proper signage, we'll have a proper
It's
striping.
a pretty common.
It's very common in New York City.
Yeah.
Yes,
We have
But-
space for this?
yes, we
You
can't
only
do
need,
two,
you
we
only need
can't
like
do two
12 feet.
separate
Yeah.
because the buffer.
What's the width of the combined?
You need 12 feet, I think.
I don't have the drawings in front of me.
It
But
says
I
here.
know the Lero group reviewed it. I questioned
Lero
it
group.
and they said, listen,
8 to 12 feet. It varies depending on, I guess.
Yeah, 8 would be really tight.
the only way, I was hoping we just have its own bike lane and they go, really-
No,
based on the
that-
safety
that's-
standards, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, and it's almost, you gotta have shared lanes at this point because.
Yeah.
There's,
And it'll be a little wider than it is now. It just will be, it just.
well,
will
the
be
thing by
directions.
making it wider to have both directions is it's not gonna be occupied all the time, right?
Right.
So even a cyclist can go around a
Right.
pedestrian.
Yeah,
so
but it'll
it's-
be wider than it is now. It'll be striped. It'll have the rumble strip.
I can't imagine a cyclist riding with facing traffic like that. I mean, I would never ride on this.
So but that's you, the spandex wearing bicyclist. I'm assuming the kid
Right,
who's
right.
coming back from using a beautiful park who needs to get somewhere.
Right.
That'll be.
The worst
much
problem is
safer
the
for them.
runners on the other side, on the north side. Because I see it every day. I mean, you come around that turn, not in our village, thank God, but the turn in Plandome Manor, that first
Oh,
turn.
right after where
They
our
come,
village
they
ends.
come like running and they're a foot or two into the roadway. And it's like,
There is
you can't see them,
there is that running path for them.
but they don't use it.
I-
Because
I-
runners, which I used to be, no offense, are obsessed with running toward traffic.
Okay,
That's how runners run.
I get it.
So I guess they're more comfortable with that.
I
but
can't-
It's
I-
very
I
dangerous.
can't fix what's in plain.
I feel like stopping some mornings and saying like, excuse me, like, wouldn't you be safer on the protected run?
So are they only gonna do rumble strips or are there other markings that they're proposing?
It's going to be rumble
Rumble
with
dots.
rumble with the I guess you call it a crosshatch.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
good.
Yeah, no, it'll be like what we have now, just a little wider and two directions.
Cool.
With the proper signage and the proper street markings. So thank you for pointing that out because I left that on my little list here. Who wants to talk about beautification?
Gary,
Okay, we will be planning to do our fall plantings in 3 of the islands this fall, in October. We have gone through a design, we have gone through some bidding, pricing on planting and labor to help us put together. And the 3 islands we're gonna be doing are the one over here, Country Club and Port Washington Boulevard, the island right by Dunkin' Donuts, Ridge Drive West and Northern Boulevard, and then also the one on Bayberry off of Port Washington Boulevard, which is a pretty significant one. That's actually the hopefully will be the most impactful one. It was the one that would, the neighbors from that area of the village came to us wanting to jumpstart some kind of program. And so, hopefully we'll see the fruits of that. And we're also going to be asking, Marla will be asking if any residents want to somehow contribute, in terms of dealing with annual plantings or seasonal plantings, because this is just kind of the basic structure.
Right, we're planting perennials.
Perennials plus whatever accent trees of not accent trees, what's the one word I'm trying to think of? Ornamental trees that we're going to be putting on each of the islands.
So if someone donates, do they get like a little name thing or something?
Well, so
Did we
that's
ever
what,
think of like doing Adopt an Island?
oh my God, that's a good, wait, hold on. I think that's a great idea. I think we should do that. Hello, haven't Marla been talking about this for 6 months?
I know, but that's why I
The
brought
one
it up.
on, the one on Northern is blind for Christmas.
Oh, that's good. And then St. Francis has the island,
St.
the
Francis
center
does.
island.
They want the Manhasset, Middleman Road and Port,
You
but
get
the
like-
state, which first said it would be done in 25.
Who else could, maybe like Lamani or somebody that?
I'm gonna send, once these islands are
Lisa
done, I
Faber.
will then send it out again to the business community where they look beautiful. I mean, it's hard.
Maybe a resident wants to.
That's
So-
what we're going to do in the newsletter.
And just to look forward
Right,
beyond
right.
this fall, certainly we're going to want to look at the Bridge Road Island.
Well, the board.
Now that the bridge is getting completed. But, the idea is wherever the high-profile islands are, along the busy streets or at the, main entrances into the village, we want to hit those first, and then we'll finally get around to doing the secondary ones.
That being said, it is hopeful that the bridge will be opened by the end of this month. I
Is that
don't
the
have
date?
it. I don't have a date. They haven't committed. But as soon as I get a date, I will publicize that throughout.
And they're gonna bring it by crane, right? They're gonna crane it, drop it in?
Dude, it's been there. It's done.
Oh, it's there already? Oh, we missed
The,
it?
the road, the bridge is in.
Oh,
The
damn.
road is paved. Everything is striped. There's some work they need to do.
And they did it with a crane? They did it with a helicopter?
I think they.
That would have been a good event. We should
I
have
think
had
they
like
slid.
a-
I think they slid it in.
Uh,
I think they went parallel. But yeah, no, it's almost done. They just,
Oh,
it literally, looks like you could drive on it now, just minimal, there's something they have to do with the power company or something.
Gotcha.
Okay. Mr. Frankel, you wanted to bring something up?
Oh, yeah, just a quick thing for thought, and I actually kind of want to hear the cons against it or any other pros. Because I drive north on Middle Road pretty much every day, and I was thinking about this and the logistics of it. When you make a right from Northern Boulevard onto Middle Neck Road, what would be the thought if there was a request, because I guess it's a state road, right, for a green arrow right turn in the right lane?
Please.
Because people cut through Duncan all the time. And the only time, and it should only be green when people are exiting Middle Neck Road to go to Northern Boulevard or Old Northern Boulevard. There's nothing precluding a right-hand turn onto Middle Neck Road from Northern at that time.
So you're saying that no turn on red corner, right?
The no turn on corner, there should be.
Heading west
not
on
a-
Northern Boulevard.
Yeah, heading west on Northern Boulevard, going north onto Middle Neck Road, right? in front
Right,
of
so you
Dunkin'
make that
Donuts.
right turn. right?
While the people exit Middle Neck Road, that only time, obviously not the other ways, that there be a right turn arrow. Because no one should be crossing the road when people are leaving Middle Neck Road anyway, so making that right turn onto it may alleviate people, because they fly through Dunkin' Donuts and clip that corner, God, where the child was hit all the time.
That
And
might
I don't
help,
know
that might help too
if
with the
that
backup,
alleviates
with the
with the
backup.
backup,
Yeah.
and it keeps traffic flowing on Middle Neck Road.
That's one reason why people are cutting through center and cutting
All
down
the time.
up bridge.
And so I timed it a few times now. I think when the light's green naturally, like normally it's about 24 seconds, 25 seconds. When they hit the crosswalk to go across Northern, I think it goes up like 40 or 42. So if you have an extra 30 to 45 seconds of people making a right onto Middle Neck Road, only at that time.
So if you're going west on Northern
You're going
and
west.
you want to go into Port, if you use Waze, it sends you up center to Ridge, to Woodland, Cherrywood, sends you that way.
So maybe this would get people to do more of Middle Neck Road and
Okay,
less.
we will,
Just food for thought.
we
come up
will,
with negative
we will
aspects
reach
of it.
out to the state and see what they can do.
That's it.
That's
Just-
Is that
that's a
right-hand turn only lane?
Yes.
It's a right,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right turn
And
on.
it's no
There's
turn on red.
no right on right.
And it should still be no red on red, because the people coming from Old Northern
Yeah,
or
yeah.
across, they'll clip you. But only when people come out of Middle Neck Road,
There's no
Also,
right
there's
lane.
no reason why you couldn't make that right.
You're right.
In theory, the walkway is open at some point while it's green on the other way. Like when it's green on Middle Neck, the crosswalk is no.
You can't, well, people are going, so you shouldn't walk anyway, because they're
Right.
going out to
Right.
Northern and to
Right,
Northern.
right,
So
right.
people are already moving in the intersection, so why can't a car?
Right, no. So
I can't think of the.
Right, that seems like it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I put it out there because I couldn't think of any cons against it.
Other than, yeah.
There was a tragedy at that
Right.
aspect, and you don't want to be the facilitator of more, just
We
food for
will,
thought.
we will
Be
ask
thinking
the
about it.
state to do a traffic study there. And we'll ask specifically for that, and we'll see what they can do.
Yep. That's it.
Oh, and the other last thing before we leave is there is a coat drive, which we've just started now through October 15th, collecting coats in that lovely bin over there. If you have any gently used or new coats, drop them off. And anybody else have anything else? I will see you all.
We have to close the meeting.
Yes, but I'm going to say we're going to see you all at 10:06 at 7 p.m. So I'm going to make a motion to end the public meeting.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
You're going tomorrow night, right, Randall?
Ken? Tomorrow, yeah.
What'd you say?
Oh, so that Chipotle.
Boy, Peter, you're
missing.
Oh.
I never saw you get so mad. Didn't think you had it in you.
apologize.